welcome, and today we're going to do a full body flow. Hopefully the feed will not drop out today. Let's see the screen do something actually. Yeah, I think we're live. So welcome everyone, let's begin down on towards our backs. And just make yourself comfortable, so taking the next few moments. If you need a stretch or to pull the knees in, just go ahead with that. And just find a bit of stillness, allowing the breath to settle. You might rest the hands gently on towards the tummy. Noticing it rising and falling as you breathe. Plant both feet into the floor, having the knees up towards the ceiling. And just bring the right knee in towards the chest. You could hold around the back of the thigh, or you could hold the shin. And then you could straighten the left leg out if that feels good. And just allow yourself to breathe. And as you breathe in, just let the knee move away from you slightly. And as you breathe out, just bringing it in slightly closer. Just place your hand onto your right knee and just start to circle into the hip. You can make these circles as small or as expansive as you like. Just take the circle back in the opposite direction. Just hug the knee again, maybe it will come in slightly closer this time. And then planting the right foot into the floor, bringing the left knee in towards the chest. An option to send the right leg away, out straight. Again, the gentle rising and falling of the leg as you breathe in and out. It's a really small movement, it might not even be visible. Taking your left hand on towards your knee and just start to circle into that hip. Just bringing awareness to any differences or different sensations between the two hips. Take that circle back in the opposite direction. And then coming back to stillness, bringing both knees in towards the chest, have a bit of a hug. And then just take the feet down towards the floor. Knees up to the ceiling, about hip distance, lay the hands on the floor by the side of the body and just start to rock the pelvis backwards and forwards. And you could continue with this movement, or if you want to add on, you could come into your bridge lifts. But we're going to keep them quite low because we're at the beginning of our practice, so we're not that warmed up yet. So next time your pelvis tucks, just start to lift the hips up off the floor, lifting the back, coming as high as feels comfortable, and then as you breathe out, just gently lowering back down, rolling back down through the spine, taking a couple of rounds here. And then next time you're in your raised bridge position, just float the arms up overhead towards the floor behind. They might rest on the floor or they might just be hanging in space. Take a few breaths here. And then slowly, keeping the arms where they are, start to roll down the spine. And then once you've lowered the back all the way down, just float the arms back down by the sides of the body, bringing the knees in towards the chest again. You might gently rock from side to side on the spine. Also there's the option you can rock up and down the spine a few times. We're going to find our way to an upright seated position. And just find the best way of getting there. Then sit comfortably for you. I'm going to start with some body rolls here, so just take the weight over one knee, through the front, over the other knee, and then rounding to the back. Really come into the side body as well, so pushing your right ribs to the side, pushing yourself backwards, and pushing the left ribs to the side as you come forwards. Take up as much space as you can doing this. And start to take this back in the opposite direction. Slowly coming back to the stillness, reaching the arms up. You might interlink the fingers, turn and press the hands. Have a good stretch here. And then separating the hands out, taking the right hand down towards the floor, reaching the left arm up, coming in towards the side bend, making sure the left buttock is anchored into the floor. Back up, taking the right arm up, taking the left hand down, reaching into the right fingertips and side bending over towards the left. Slowly coming back upright, this time twisting, so twisting round to the right, taking left hand towards right knee, right hand behind. You can look over the shoulder if you're okay in the neck, but don't force the movement. Slowly reaching the arms back up, turning around to the left, taking your twist to the other side. lifting arms back up, coming back through centre. Just take the hands down in front, coming into an easy forward fold. So either letting the head hang in space or it might rest gently on towards the floor. Slowly coming back upright. Keeping the back nice and straight here, just dropping the chin towards the chest. Take some movements, rolling the head round to one side, so ear to shoulder, and then to the other side. Taking some half moon shapes of the neck. And then you could take them into a full circle. Only do this if it feels okay for your neck though. Checking that the shoulders aren't starting to hike up towards the ears. And then reversing the direction if you were taking a circle. Then next time the chin is back down towards the chest, holding it there, and then bringing the head upright. Coming over into a 4-point kneeling. So taking the hips and knees in line, and then wrists and shoulders in line. I'm going to take some cat-cow stretches, so dipping the belly, sending the chest through the shoulders. You could gaze forwards or up. And then breathing out, rounding into the back. Take the gaze towards the belly button. Just moving at your own pace here. Allowing the movement to fit in with your breath. Taking a couple more. Coming back to stillness, finding a neutral spine. Taking the right leg back, just tuck the toes under and pushing in towards the heel. And then lifting the right leg up so it's parallel. Making sure the hips are still squared, flex the foot, have the toes pointing down towards the floor. And then bending in towards the knee, rounding the back, bringing the forehead and the knee towards each other, and then straightening the leg out behind. Take a few of these movements. Next time the legs out straight, just holding it there. Coming on towards the left fingertips, and then maybe reaching the left arm out in front. Firing up the abdominals, tucking the belly in. Lowering down both hand and leg back towards our 4-point kneeling position. Stretching left leg back behind, tucking the toes, just push the heel down towards the floor so you get that stretch down the back of the left leg. And then lifting the leg up parallel, making sure the hips are squared. And then bending towards the knee, bringing the knee towards the forehead, and sending the leg away. Next time the leg's in its straight position, just holding it there. Next time, this time coming onto right fingertips, maybe reaching right arm out in front. Lowering back down, finding your 4-point kneeling. And then this time we're going to find our toes. Tucking the toes under, lifting the knees up. We're going to find our first downward dog. So once you're in your downward dog, just feel the space. Do you feel a bit tight in the back of the legs? If so, you might spend the next few moments just padding the feet into the floor. Or you might just prefer to take this in stillness. And looking to the space between the hands, picking up the left leg, you might reach the leg up towards the sky, take a 3-legged dog, and then just step the right foot between the hands, lower down towards the left knee. Just going to work a little bit into the back of the right leg. So just take a few bending and straightening motions. Don't force the leg straight if it doesn't want to straighten out completely. It's what you're feeling that's the main thing here. Next time the knee's bent, holding it there. Planting left hand in towards the floor, reaching right arm up towards the ceiling. Stay here, or options, take the arm back, maybe bending into the left knee, taking hold of the ankle, coming into a shoulder opener, and a stretch for the hip flexors and the quadriceps. And then just releasing off as you took the foot, and just straighten out, holding your half split for a few breaths. You can intensify this by lowering the upper body down towards the leg. And bending back in towards the left knee. Framing the front foot, tuck the toes, lifting the back knee, take a step back towards downward facing dog. Just taking a moment to observe how the legs feel, if they feel different. I'm going to take the left foot forward now, so option to lift the left leg up, take a 3-legged dog. And then stepping the foot through to the space between the hands, lower down towards the right knee. So we're in our low lunge. Once set up here, start off with the movement, bending and straightening. Next time the knee is in its bent position, holding it there. Planting right hand down, this time reaching left arm up towards the ceiling. Simple twist. Option to stay here, or you could take the left arm back, bending into the right knee, taking the right ankle. Releasing the right foot if you took it, and then just start straightening into the left leg. Going to hold half splits for a few breaths. Option 2, increase the depth by lowering the chest towards the leg. If you want to lessen the sensations, just let the knee bend softly. And then bending back in towards that left knee, framing the foot with the hands, tuck the back toes, and then take a step back towards downward facing dog. And then coming in towards the plank, dropping the knees down towards the floor. Lower the chest and chin between the hands, and then lower yourself all the way down. Take the elbows under the shoulders, finding a Sphinx pose here. So lifting the shoulders, long neck, pulling the chest through slightly. Might feel good to move here. You might want to tip-top the hips from side to side. You might want to gaze over one shoulder and then the other. And then lowering down, take the hands underneath the shoulders and pushing back towards your downward facing dog. And then just start to walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. And then take them about hip distance, coming into an easy fold, so keep the knees soft here. You could frame the head with the hands, the arms, or you might just let the hands be really heavy, dangling down. You might want to sway from side to side. And then from here, take the hands onto the shins, coming in towards a flat back position. And take the hands on towards the hips, and then slowly come up to stand. Give yourself time in case you feel dizzy. And then just be towards the top end of the mat. Big toes touching in our mountain pose. Taking a few rounds of traditional Surya Namaskara. So take a breath in, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling. You could take a baby back bend if that's in your practice. Breathing out, folding down towards the floor. Step back with the right leg, lower down towards the right knee, coming into a low lunge, lifting the chest. Tuck the toes, stepping back, finding your plank. Taking the knees down, chin and chest down, and coming all the way down, keeping hands under the shoulders, finding your cobra, low or high. Lowering back down, tucking the toes, finding your downward facing dog. Stepping forward with the right leg, lowering the left knee down, finding your low lunge again. And then stepping up with the left leg, forward fold. Coming up, taking the arms up, palms touch, baby back bend if comfortable. Breathing out, arms back down by the sides. Again, breathe in, taking the arms up, baby back bend. Breathing out, folding down towards the floor. Stepping back with the left leg, lower down towards the knee, low lunge. Tucking the toes, taking a step back towards plank. Dropping knees, chin and chest down, and then finding your cobra. Lowering down, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Picking up the left leg, Stepping to the space between the hands, lowering down to the right knee, lifting the chest. Stepping up, finding your forward fold, lowering down. Breathe in, coming up, taking the arms up. Baby back bend if comfortable, breathing out. One more round on each side. So breathe in, taking arms up, baby back bend. Breathing out, folding down. Stepping back with the right leg, lower down to right knee, low lunge. Stepping back towards your plank. Knees, chest and chin. Cobra pose. Lowering back down, downward dog. Picking up the right leg, stepping up to the top of the mat, lowering down towards the left knee. Tucking the toes, stepping up, forward fold. Coming up, taking the arms up, baby back bend. Breathing out, mountain pose. Once more, breathe in, coming up, baby back bend. Breathing out, folding down. Stepping back with the left leg, lowering down, low lunge. Tucking the toes, finding your plank. Dropping knees, chest and chin. Coming all the way down and cobra pose. Lowering down, downward facing dog. Picking up left foot, stepping between the hands, lowering down, lifting the chest. Stepping up, finding your forward fold. Breathe in, coming up, baby back bend. Breathing out. Back in towards our mountain pose. Take a few breaths here. Just settle from that movement. Might want to close the eyes for a moment. The eyes are closed, just opening them. Just step back with the right leg, about a leg's length. Reaching the arms out towards a T shape. Turning in the left foot, diagonal, turning out the right foot. Reaching in towards the right hand, and then lowering the hand down towards the shin, the ankle, or the foot. Left arm could go up to the ceiling, or you might take it behind the back if that works better for you. You could gaze up, or you could gaze down, whatever works best for you. Slowly coming back up, turning the feet square, turning right foot 45 degrees, left foot out, and then without collapsing, because sometimes people do this before they come down, just try to reach, keeping lots of space for this left hip flexor, taking the arm down, taking the right arm up or behind the back. Slowly coming back upright. I'm going to take twisted triangle from here, so turning the left foot diagonal again, turning the right foot out. This time square the hips around so they're facing over the right leg. And then reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling. Now if you normally use a block in this practice, and you have one, it might be good to use that. Starting to tip forwards over the right leg, and the left hand's either going to come towards the shin, or it might come to the floor on the inside or the outside of the right foot, turning around to the side, either leaving that right hand on the hip, or you can reach up towards the ceiling. slowly coming back up. Bring the block with you if you're using it. Turning on the feet, so turning the right foot in, turning left foot out, squaring round to face the left leg, reaching the right arm up, and then folding forwards, taking your hand down to your preferred position, twisting round, and then option to take left arm up to the ceiling. Turning down towards the floor, this time frame that front foot, bending towards the knee, taking a step back towards your plank. You could either wait in the downward dog or come through a flow, so you could lower down, either dropping the knees or you could just hover. Finding a back bend, cobra, maybe upward facing dog, and then back towards downward facing dog. And then from here, reaching the right leg up towards the ceiling. This time you could bend the knee and open the hip, stacking the hips. Just check the shoulders are staying square and stable. And then straighten and square. And then stepping the right foot to the space between the hands. Turning the left foot so it's parallel to the back of the mat. I'm going to find our warrior two, so taking the arms up towards the T shape, bending deeply into the front knee, gazing towards the fingertips with the right hand. And then taking the right elbow towards the right thigh, reaching left arm up and over. Slowly finding your warrior two again. This time turn the right palm up to the ceiling. Take the left arm, wrapping it around the back, so it can either just rest on your back, or you might hook it round and take hold of the thigh or a piece of clothing. We're going to reverse our warrior here, so deeply bending into that knee. And then straighten into the right leg, really coming into reverse triangle, really opening down the side of the body. Bending back in towards the knee, taking the right hand down to the floor, take the left hand on towards the hip. Make sure you have a little bit of space in front of you. You want to take the right hand in front, maybe slightly to the side of your right foot. We're going to find our half moon here. So start to lift the left leg up, squaring the hips, so stacking the hips on top of each other. And then option to take the right arm up towards, up towards the ceiling. You can look up or down, whatever works best. Finding your balance. And then turning down towards the floor, keeping the left foot up, and then just taking your standing split. So just lower your chest towards your right leg, reaching your left leg up a little higher. And then stepping back with the left foot, back into that lunge. And then stepping the right foot back. Find your downward dog. Again, yogi's choice, you can either wait in a downward dog or move through a flow. So coming into plank, lowering down, hover, finding a back bend, and then back towards downward facing dog. Lifting left leg up towards the ceiling, option to bend the knee, opening the hip. Straighten and squaring, and then stepping the left foot through, turning the right foot parallel with the back of the mat, rolling up towards your warrior two. Gazing towards the left hand, middle finger in the left hand, deeply bending into left knee, straight into the right leg. And then taking your left elbow towards your thigh, reaching the right arm up and over. Coming back to find your warrior two. Turning left hand so the palm's facing up. Taking right hand behind the back, either hooking the thigh or finding a piece of clothing. Reversing our warrior. Start straightening into the left leg. Reverse triangle. Bending back into the leg, taking the left hand down, take right hand to the hip, making sure you've got space in front. We're going to find our half moon again, so left hand on the floor in front, slightly to the left with the left foot. Start to bring the right leg up, stacking the hips, and then you've got the option to reach that right hand up towards the ceiling. You could look up, or you could look down. Turning back down towards the floor and finding your standing splits. Stepping the right leg back. Stepping the left leg back. Again, yogi's choice, either downward dog or finding a flow. And then from here, we're all going to drop down towards the knees. I'm going to take a child pose. So you could take regular child pose, or you could take the knees a bit wider. Lowering the bottom back to the heels, lowering the forehead down towards the floor. Taking the gaze to the space between the hands, we're going to come down onto our front. So just coming forwards, lowering yourself down. I'm going to take the hands down by the side of the body, with the palms facing up to the ceiling, keeping the neck long, so keep the forehead down to the floor. We're going to take a few rounds of locust pose. Take a breath in, and then just lifting the chest up, keeping the backs of the hands and the feet on the floor. It's not going to be high, looking down towards the mat. Continuing to breathe, and then lowering back down. And then again lifting. This time you might lift the feet too. Keep the legs straight here so the thighs lift as well. Lowering back down. And take the hands and interlink the fingers behind the back towards your tailbone. And then we're going to come up again. So breathing in, coming up full locust. And you might lift the hands off the back too. Lowering back down, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, pushing yourself back towards the 4-point kneeling. Take a few rounds of cat and cow. And then from your 4-point kneeling, we're going to find our melting heart So keeping the knees and hips in line, you start to walk the hands out away and lowering down either towards the forehead, or you might find you've come down towards your chest and chin. Walking the hands back in. Again, take a few movements, cat-cow. And then we're going to come up to a high kneeling position. Take the feet about hip distance. If they're a bit sensitive, you might want to put some extra padding under them. And we're going to come into camel pose. So if you do take the hands back, obviously if you tuck the toes, the heels are going to be closer. So it's your choice. Starting off, taking the hands towards the back of the hips. And then first of all, before we bend back, just lift the chest up. So we're not bending back here, we're just lifting the chest. And then we start to take the back bend. Try to avoid just throwing the head back here. Breathing. And then slowly coming back upright. And then you might just want to take the bottom back to the heels for a moment or so. Just take a rest. And then coming back to our high kneeling position, either repeat what we just did, or we can take it a bit deeper this time. Taking the hands back towards the hips again, and then starting out with that lifting of the chest. And then taking the back bend. If it's in your range of movement, the fingers might come back and touch onto the heels, but try not to let the legs start doing this, falling back. Try and keep the hips and the knees in line. You could look up if you're okay in the neck. And to come out of camel, intensely squeeze your buttocks and your thighs, and then just coming up, and then just sit back towards your heels again, taking a rest. And then we're going to find a seated position from here. So just make your way onto your bottom. Taking the legs out in front, having the toes pointing up to the ceiling, hands down by the side of the body, lifting the chest. Seated start. I'm going to take a simple twist from here, so bending in towards the right knee, planting the foot in, turning around towards the right. So you could take the left hand and hug the knee, taking the right hand behind, or you could reach the left arm up, making a stop sign over, taking the gaze behind. If you bind and that's in your practice, you could wrap the arm either around the shin or the thigh, linking the hands behind. Turning back forwards, releasing the twist, taking the right leg out, and then bringing in the left knee, twisting around towards the left in your preferred way, choosing the hand position that works for you the best, making sure your right foot still flexed, toes are up towards the ceiling. forwards, releasing the twist out. Then take a forward fold from here. Take a breath in, reaching the arms up. If you have tight hips and hamstrings, you might want to soften the knees here as we tip from the hip. Folding forwards, keeping the back nice and flat, taking the hands down to where they land. Take a breath in, lifting the chest, and then folding down over the legs. Slowly coming back upright. I'm going to take the legs out to a wide V shape here. So once you're in a suitably wide V shape, bending into the left knee, bringing the heel in towards the bottom, and then turning around towards the right leg. Take a breath in, lifting the chest, and then just fold over the right leg. It's coming down, you might come down to about here, or you might come down really low. Just noticing where the sensations and the feedback is. Slowly walking the hands back upright, turning round to centre. I'm going to take a side bend this time. So taking the right hand to the inside of the right leg, it might just be on the leg here, you might be holding the foot, turning the chest up towards the ceiling, and the left arm can either go around the back and hook onto the hip or some clothing, or you could reach up and over into space. If you can take the foot, but try to avoid folding forwards like that, because I've lost my stretch now. So make sure you can keep the chest lifted up to the ceiling. Only take the foot if you can do that. Slowly coming back upright. And then taking out the left leg, bending into the right leg, bringing the heel in towards the groin, turning around to the left leg, take a breath in, lifting the chest up, and then folding forwards over that leg. Slowly coming back upright, turning back centre, taking left hand to the inside of the left leg, opening the chest towards the ceiling, either taking the right hand behind the back or reaching it up and over. Slowly coming back upright, taking out the right leg. I'm going to take a wide legged forward fold from here. So just making sure the feet are flexed, the toes are pointed up towards the ceiling. Don't have the legs so wide that it's uncomfortable for you. And just place the hands down in front. Rather than rounding the back, I'm going to try and fold from the hips again, as we did before. So just starting to walk the hands out. You might just stop about here. If you feel like your back's starting to round, this is a good place to stop. If you come a bit lower, you might find you can lower towards your elbows. If you fold deeper, then take the chest towards the floor. But just try to avoid the feet from tipping in or out, or the back from rounding. walking the hands back in, and then taking the hands to the backs of the thighs and just bringing the legs in, bringing the legs together. You might want to wrap the arms around the shins. You might even lower the forehead down towards the knees. We're going to make our way down onto our back from here. So make sure you're towards the top end of the mat. Take the hands to the backs of the thighs and just lower yourself down. And then make sure fully lower down towards the floor. Just lifting up the hips, take them slightly over to the right. Take the arms either out to a T shape or a cactus shape, and just allowing the knees to drop over towards the left. Bringing these up back to centre, so engaging your tummy muscles to do that. Straightening out the hips and then lifting the hips up, taking them over towards the left and just allowing the knees to drop over to the right. Engaging your tummy muscles, bringing the knees back to centre. Bringing the right leg into the chest and then the left leg into the chest. Separating the knees so they're about shoulder distance. You might just stay here, holding on towards the shins, or you might want to flex the feet, take hold of the inside or the outside of the feet, finding your happy baby. You're in your happy baby pose. Just make sure the elbows are inside of the legs. I find that brings a bit more stability. And then feel free to move here if you like, so you might want to rock from side to side. And then if you took hold of the feet, just releasing them off. Bringing the knees back together. You might want to wrap your arms around your legs. You might even bring the forehead up towards the knees, squeezing tightly. And then lowering down, releasing down onto the floor. We're going to find our final resting posture, our Shavasana here. So if you want to take a longer Shavasana, then just end the video here and make yourself comfortable. If you want to take Shavasana with me, find a comfortable laying position, take up space here, position that feels best for you. I'll leave you here for a few moments, I'll go quiet, and then I'll sound the end of the practice with the chime of the singing bowl, and then we'll close the practice together. So just close the eyes, once you're settled. Allowing the breath to settle, letting go of any breathing practices you've been doing. taking some deeper breaths, breathing energy back into the body. You might reach the arms up over the head, take a stretch. You might want to bring the knees in towards the chest and hug them in close. And then when you're ready, just roll over to a side, linger there for a breath or two. Before finding your way round to an upright seated position. And then from your seated position, reaching the arms up towards the ceiling, touching palms together, bringing hands down towards the centre of chest. Thank you for sharing a practice with me. Namaste. Take care. Stay weird. And I'm really thankful that the feed didn't cut out.